Hi, the name's Geb. Always a bit GIL poor. Ever wondered how to be a gillionaire without headache of flipping at the market board? Ever wanted a no-nonsense guide to easy and stable methods of making GIL in Final Fantasy XIV? Then you're watching the right guide. I'm going to go through some easy to set up money making methods in Final Fantasy XIV. No market board shenanigans, no insane grinding for hours, and not even any crafting jobs needed. Just 3 simple things you can do day to day or week to week that will steadily increase that number on the bottom right. Before I get into this, however, I will say that if you haven't finished the main story or have gotten to the end game and thought, why don't I have enough? The honest answer is because you probably haven't completed the main story, which will net you quite a bit of GIL to start off with. When I picked the game back up in early Shadowbringers, by the time I got to the end of MSQ, I sat at about 3 million from memory, which is a great starting point for the new player. Now, with that out of the way, let's get started. The first thing I'll point you to is the duty roulettes. I'm not kidding. Hear me out. Daily roulettes, with the exception of Frontline, can bring in a total of around 63,000 GIL. I say this because Alliance raids usually bring in a varying amount depending on what type of Alliance raid it is, whether it's level 50, 60, 70 or 80. If you take the in-need bonus into account, that's these bonuses here, which is the bonus that you get for filling in the role that the queue needs at the moment. Most of these are going to be tank roles, sometimes you'll get healers, very occasionally you'll get DPS. That total goes up to a whopping 121,000 GIL per day. And that's just the raw GIL amount. I'm not even taking into account the tomestones you can get from this, the additional gear that you can get from this to exchange, and you can exchange all of these for extra resources that you can eventually sell. This method gets overlooked quite often because, well, we take it for granted, and we often underestimate how much we can get out of it. Another quick tip from me is when you go to extract your materia, unless the next expansion is just around the corner, keep them until the next patch. Usually when the next patch comes out, they often double or even triple in price. Hold on to your materias. Next up, perhaps you might want something where you get a little bit more involved. One common, but often under-explained system is treasure maps. Treasure maps are good money makers due to the fact that the RNG associated with them gets significantly diminished when done at scale. Say for example, you get a party of 8 together and each player has brought 3 maps with them, costing around 20k each, 60k total, which is around the price that a map normally goes, at least on my server. It could vary from server to server. Even if your group was the most unluckiest group imaginable, where no portal spawned whatsoever, the average raw GIL amount that you can get for each map is actually around 13k GIL, which, if done 24 times, is 312k GIL to each individual person. That's a 252k GIL profit. Now that's the worst case scenario. On average, if portals do spawn, which they often do, you're actually looking closer at around 25k per portal, or around 600k in total gained. You're basically 10 times in the amount of money that you spent off of putting the money to buy the maps in the first place. And that's not to mention that if you do get lucky in some of these, say for instance you get to the end of the portal, or you get a rare piece of gear or a rare item from it, you can immediately make millions off of this. It's absolutely no joke. Treasure maps are really good money makers, especially if you have a group of friends or you have an FC that you can do these with. And lastly, retainers. Now, I won't lie, this method takes a little bit to get going and is a slow burner, but when you get your 2 retainers, you can slowly level and gear them through quick expeditions. These last 1 hour, and at the end of them, your retainer will bring back all manner of items, the best of which is the Venture Copper, which can yield all-purpose general black or white dye, which can net, at least again according to my server, an easy 250k to 350k each. Even if you do manage to get some of that unobtainable gear or untradeable gear, these can actually be submitted as an expert delivery with your grand company, which can then be spent to get more ventures, which then the ventures can be spent to get more expeditions. Do you see where this is going? It's a never-ending cycle. Again, although a slow burner, it is a really good way to make money over time, and especially when you do hit it big with those venture coffers. That's it from me. If you have any other simple guild making methods, leave them in the comments. Given that this is my first time making a video like this, please let me know how I did, and if you'd like to see more in the future, please give it a like and maybe even sub if you want to. I'm also streaming at twitch.tv/GabeTheSquare, so if you want to come chat, please feel free to join in. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Wait, you're still here? Hey, thanks. Here's a virtual hug from me.